Greetings, dear ones, and happy Christmas Eve if that is what you celebrate. This is December 24th, and this is our weekly Ancient Future Wisdom episode 121, I believe. And today we're going to be touching on old traditions and how they came to be, or new traditions, how they came to be from very ancient traditions, and why that's significant, and how some of the ideas from old are actually reflected in our new world, our new way, our new earth. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that and just giving some examples of old customs and where they may have come from, that why we're still holding them today. And then we're going to do a deep drop into the energetics of the holiday, of light, of we're really looking at this ease of moving from one reality to another, of one dimension to another, talking about different beings that can be thought of as mythological or in legend, and yet at the same time those same archetypes and those same needs that we have as humans for those aspects and characteristics of life, of heroes. We're certainly seeing that in our current culture of movies and TV shows. And so I want to get started by just, you may have seen the post for this episode, and it was a picture, a beautiful painting of Father Yule, and that is one of the old terms for this time of the year. What was celebrated was primarily the solstice, and that we had a beautiful and very, very powerful gathering on the 21st, a few days ago, where we were really accessing some of the deeply embedded personal, hereditary, cultural, and species conflicts and warring and prejudices based in history. And this is why it's so important to look at your personal history and find patterns and reasons for your feelings and behavior today, and the way you think, the way you feel, as well as studying history and exploring why some of the political, socio-political, and cultural clashes or mistrust still exist. So this is a process of evolution that we're in, as I've referred to it many times, an evolutionary leap, not merely a progression or, a slow progression. We are poised to make really massive changes, transformation, in a very short period of time. In case you hadn't noticed, we have a lot of impetus, a lot of potential that's coming out of chaos and conflicts and issues coming up for different groups here in the United States, politically, socially, otherwise, and around the world. The idea of freedom in an individual way or individuated way, as well as on a larger scale for countries and our planet. For, it's when we individuate, the more and more we individuate, meaning that we stand in and on our own, after having transformed and transmuted those aspects of our personality, of our behavior, the reasons for our choices based in misperceptions and mistaken beliefs about who we are and how the world works in relation to us. We find as we discover more and more of the truth of ourselves that most of those misperceptions and mistaken beliefs and things that we feel about ourselves or fear that other people feel about us or think about us are really basically lies. So the more we individuate, the more we explore our history personally, the more we are able to transform and transmute those pieces within us, thereby allowing us to transform and transmute on a larger scale our culture, our families, and our heredity, those issues that run in families, as well as I said, culturally. We're here in the United States, a very, what do they call it, melting pot. So there are many cultures here. Many people have married into other cultures, into other ways of life, into other religions, etc. And so that blending is a wondrous thing because it does break down some of the old enmity and mistrust and prejudices eventually. But it also can cause great conflict within us. A lot of what we discover when I'm working with clients individually is not only how that piece shows up in the family, but also how that particular culture that they source from treat women in their world, treat those that are different, treat those that are of a lower social or economic group. So we're carrying all of this within us. Not to mention, and that's one of the pieces today that's significant, is that we're also carrying within us, or hold within us, connections to other realities, other existences. Many people refer to them as past lives, but for those of us who really are trained in how to shapeshift and move from one reality to another, move in and out of other dimensions, you really come to realize that everyone here has those connections, and that there is a specific purpose for one or two very specific either dimensions or worlds or realms that you've chosen to help you and guide you, inform you, as well as have the potential to then go through the portals of your personal issues to access those other realities. And in so doing, you now have a channel by which you can bring in skills, abilities, knowledge, ways of, or particular energetics that are benefiting and influencing this evolutionary leap. And oftentimes it may be to complete a particular soul exploration. So there's much that you are, much more than you are probably aware. And that brings us back to, some of the ancient traditions based in both the Germanic peoples, the Eastern European, Slavic cultures, as well as the Norse cultures, and English, Gaelic, Welsh, Scot. All of those, we still Maybe some of the wording has changed, but some of the traditions still remain, and without the significant meaning. So the invitation is to find out about and explore, investigate some of the reasons why we have trees for Christmas, why we focus on the light and warmth and fires and candles. All of these traditions have much from what was done really at the solstice, and the 25th was actually New Year for most of those peoples that I just mentioned. And so there's a lot of ending of the old and bringing in the new around the 25th, the birthing of a new year, and the killing of an old. We don't realize oftentimes that our entire calendar was changed at one point, that the number of days, the whole way we count, and months, and how many months in a year, etc. So when you look back, the date of the 25th really corresponds to a new year in the Norse, Germanic, and Slavic, and Old English traditions. And we see so often throughout history, certainly the past 2,000 years, where the church co-opted or kind of changed the pagan, what was considered pagan or heathen practices and dates and ceremonies and rituals, and kind of blended those or took them over with Christian traditions or Christian names for those traditions. And yet it still runs deep within us, deep within our genes, deep within our blood, the reasons for many of those traditions. Oftentimes they were to, more often than not, to ward off either bad spirits, negative spirits, in the more kind of, some represented in the Germanic, but also in the Scot tradition of the pushing out or means of getting rid of the trolls, and how they were attempting to impede the harvest or steal some of the grains and food that was grown and tended to and harvested. So, and we think of these as only old stories or people who were unsophisticated, and that's why they spoke of trolls and elves and, people that were magical and mythical, now mythical. But is there a possibility that more than we realize there are different dimensions that can be accessed, dimensions, worlds, and realms that can be accessed right here on this planet? There are locations that are portals, vortexes. People are very, very aware of them, but kind of relate them more to just energy. However, my experience and the ancients, the Council of an Intergalactic Council of Ancient Beings that I've been working with for 20-something years, has informed me that, in fact, those portals around the world lead to other locations, other realities, and that we have connections to them. Everyone has different and unique connections, and that's why this is such a powerful evolutionary process, because as we saw the other night in the solstice event, we can actually work within us to transform and transmute aspects of, as I said, heredity, culture, and human nature itself. But moreover, when you can go deeply, as many of my clients who are working on mastery levels, the majority are, they are actually transmuting and metamorphosizing through their human issues aspects from other existences. And that leaves us the potential, as I said a minute ago, for channeling in knowledge, energetics, abilities to assist this process of evolution. Now, interestingly enough, physics, quantum physics, sciences of all sort are bringing forth or are discovering information, particularly the past couple of years, that is completely changing paradigms of how we believed cultures developed, how we believed migration occurred, how we believe that the Big Bang occurred, how we believed what's going on in our own solar system, much less our galaxy. The Higgs boson particle has been seen, developed, and for now quite some time, science is very, very aware of what they refer to as a net or a web of energy. But when they indicate it being out there. Whereas from the perspective, certainly of my work and many others, that web is created, reformed, rewoven by our consciousness. So when we are able to truly go in deeply to our, not only our consciousness, but our subconscious, our unconscious, our, wherein lies all of these ancient beliefs and, as I said, conflicts and prejudices, then we're able to truly transmute them and reweave the tapestry of humanity. So you are so much more powerful than you know, and you have so much more ability and possibility and potential to change this world. We are not in any way, shape, or form victims, although it can feel like that for sure with all that's going on, and that we don't have, you know, any power to change a war or potential war in Russia and the Ukraine, or we don't have any potential to do anything to stop the typhoon that was recently in the Philippines. But that is not actually true. Our consciousness is constantly adjusting, informing, connecting to, and affecting everything that goes on this planet. The system was designed to be a back and forth, interrelated and interconnected system wherein we are receiving, giving, communicating with, cooperating with, collaborating with, communing with on a constant basis the physical earth itself, nature. And as I spoke about in, you know, several past Ancient Future Wisdom episodes, we have abandoned that relationship for the most part and broken the connection to the earth in a relational way. And you know in your individual life when you have problems in a friendship or a marriage or between and among family members, that there is great effect. And so too, that disconnection from the earth is causing a lot of what we're seeing in the world today. And you're probably very well aware of that. Which brings us back to some of these ancient practices. There was a constant relationship to nature, to the earth, to the spirits, and those that were seen to oversee and regulate fertility and growth and harvest and the weather, the sun, the moon, the stars, how things occurred that affected everyday life. And so we see a lot of those traditions in different holidays, and they've been either watered down or again co-opted and assimilated into different religious practices, particularly Christian. But that break, that purposeful disconnect on behalf of religious leaders, not just the Catholic Church. For a long time, the Protestant control of Scotland absolutely almost decimated completely that culture, and purposefully so. We see that with, the Spanish culture going into Latin America, again, to decimate cultures. We're all still living as a result of this today. And the effects on our psyche, the effects on our physical bodies. And so when we do any of these practices and are more aware of the ancient reasons for them, we can do them with more thoughtfulness, with more mindfulness, with more purposefulness, with more relational and interrelationship with not only one another, but the earth. We've become disconnected in so many ways, and materialism is rampant, and also that's what this is about, the gifting, giving, buying, giving, owning, having, accumulating. And is this really fulfilling us? What about simplifying? I think that we've seen that, one of the great benefits of the horrible, what some people refer to as the horrible, past couple of years with the pandemic. But it has led us to a simpler, oftentimes quieter, smaller, more thoughtful, more reflective place. And so I really invite you, I will try to post one of the YouTube videos that I came across. It's about an hour long, of a gentleman that speaks of the many different influences, the Slavic influences, the Norse influences, the Germanic influences, the Gaelic and Celtic and Welsh and Scot traditions that are just still sneaking through things like caroling, and which was based in people dressing up and masks and going from house to house, often citing or reciting rhymes, and the response from the people indoors to allow for an interchange, and again purposefully to ward off evil spirits. The drinking of wassail, we still have our song. Songs that still use some of the wording. That was the ale, and apples are very significant as well in different cultures. The Yule log, using oak because it had very health bringing and healing properties. And oftentimes that was drugged through the town. We have the traditions in, I think it's more the English Isles, where they would, in Gaelic, where they would kill a wren, because the wren was thought to represent bad luck and ill health. So that was a practice. And the feasting, the sacrifice of the boar and the hunt, and all of these, we eat ham now. The many things come from ancient traditions. They would have many bonfires oftentimes. And again, this was New Year, the 25th. The 21st was solstice, and it was very much recognized throughout just about every culture on the planet. You can look at, probably Wikipedia or something like that, looking into some more of the ancient traditions. And I really encourage you to do so, because as you make that connection to the past, your family has traditions, but where does that source from? Is it something that was just created? Is it from one or the other of the lines of culture that come through? And again, doing so in a way to perhaps connect more with the earth. If you have a Christmas tree, to recognize the importance of trees, the significance of trees, the gifting of trees. They are represented in many indigenous cultures as the gifting beings, because they are constantly giving shade and food and feeding the land and maintaining the birds and the critters. So really be aware of what goes on behind the many traditions that we have, and how at that period, in those times, the recognition of very thin veil, where beings can move, spirits can move from where the dimensions or existences that they maintain move into ours, and how we are scientifically coming to see more and more how the potentials for moving in and out of other dimensions, other realities. So just as different pagan and heathen practices and rituals were later, as I said, attempted to co-opt and suppress, so too is there a huge push to suppress science in many countries. And that's been going on for quite some time. Again, fearing that which is new, fearing that which we don't know. Yes, all of that is true. But also fearing the potentials and the powers that will enable humans to have. That we won't be based in a very materialistic or an economy that is based on resources that can be controlled and owned. This growth, this potential for unlimited energy from sources, allowing us the freedom to individuate, the freedom to be, as we're seeing so much in the past couple of years, people following their love or their hobby and making that now into their business. And little by little, perhaps taking apart the pyramidal structure of corporations and, again, power in the hands of the few. So it's a very exciting time. It's a beautiful time. Not just Christmas, but this ending of a year, ending of an era. We have so many influences from the celestial, from cosmic bodies. We have a wonderful, wonderful comet going by. It's called the Christmas comet. It's possible to be seen, I believe, just with binoculars, so you don't have to, have a lot of equipment. Look out for it. This is a comet that won't be seen again. I believe it's 80,000 years. We have I think it's the Ursiad meteors right now. If you have the opportunity to a cloudless night or go to a dark place and see some of these meteors and make a wish, Make a wish on a falling star. This time is all about belief and about wishes coming true. Yes, we source it to Santa Claus, and again, if you look back, there are beyond even Father Christmas, there is Father Yule, and what that represented for ancient peoples, and why we still to this day have such a figure. But use this time of magic, use this time of goodwill, yes, to direct that towards yourself. We're all very kind. Everybody's letting us in line. Everybody's letting, cars in. How do we maintain that throughout the year? Again, know thyself. Really inquiring, exploring, transforming, transmuting what is within us, because as I've mentioned, there is so much. There is a long lineages of not only human, but beyond. So let yourself have this sense of magic in that change, wishes can occur very, very quickly and in a way beyond even what you imagined. That to me is what magic is. There's a wonderful line in the movie Thor where he's speaking to Jane, the physicist, and he's saying, in ancient times, your people called it magic. Now you call it science. Where I come from, it is one and the same. And we're moving towards that. And thank goodness to, Marvel and so many of the movies and television shows that we've been seeing, giving us a true felt sense of a galactic level or other worlds and places that we have in the very near future the potential to visit and explore. If we continue to recognize and allow science to go unfettered and not unfettered, but without prejudices and without the attempt to stop the expansion of us as humans, not just our mind, but our, that's where you come in, our internal, emotional, cultural, human nature. Because we can't have all of that wonderful technology if we are not more developed as a people, as a species. It would be like, putting a 5-year-old on a dump truck or a large piece of equipment. They do not have the capacity to truly understand all the ramifications and to truly use that piece of equipment. So I encourage you to explore. Take this year, explore thyself, explore what we have available, explore potentials. And right now we're going to go in and explore some of what you may find in your inner verse. And so all that I've been speaking about, it's in this container, it's in mixing alchemy. You're bringing your energies, your beliefs, your traditions, your issues, your fears, your celebrations, all of that in this container, because it is in that mixture and blending of apparent opposites, or that which is we deem not beneficial or negative or harmful, that in fact must be an ingredient for a huge energy explosion or energy generating potential, and energy generating for those potentials. So that's why when I'm working with people, all of you is here. All that is not so pretty, and all that is magnificent and beautiful. For you are all that, you are all that and more, so much more. And that inner explanation and inner exploration and discovery allows you to come to know that. Not just suspect it, not just intellectually, but to truly have that and know that. I was speaking with a client this morning, and she literally has come to deeply love and respect and value herself, not just in words, but is excited about who she is every single day, and making choices and making decisions for her benefit, which on the surface sounds selfish, but quite the contrary. It allows for everything and everyone around her to be in their rightful place, because she's choosing her rightful place based on her regard and love and joy about herself. So we're going to bring that in, the good spirits. All of that. Allow yourself to sit deeply in your body, for it is all within, all answers, all information, all sources and resources are within. So really settling on your chair, allowing that chair or couch or floor to really hold you, and just gently allowing your shoulder blades to kind of slide down and a little bit together, which automatically shifts into your skeletal structure so that you don't have to hold yourself up. We do that so often. It also enables you to open up your third chakra, your diaphragm, your heart area, your chest. Not because you're holding it back, but when you're on those sits bones and gently let those shoulder blades slide down and together, it automatically opens up, allowing you to breathe a bit more, and therefore allowing you to then sink down and internally. So often we're taught to go up and out through our third eye, which can feel wonderful and give some great information, but it also is fairly limited compared to your inner verse. It is the universe within, and that means millions upon trillions of potentials. For you are an eternal being, a magnificent individuation of oneness, of the unity. And if you're on the planet at this time, it is because you have a certain level of expertise in this universe, and because you chose to be here at this exciting, expansive, evolutionary time. And you chose this for your soul's benefit, to be able to take advantage and perhaps complete a soul project, or expand that soul project in such a way that it allows you a wider experience as a soul. All of that and more compacted into these very tiny little vessels we call bodies. Feel into that body. Feel into its huge, expansive, deep, profound, encompassing of all that you are. Ask and allow that body. Ask and allow your energy field. Ask and allow your wider self, which is your soul self, ever widening its experience, ever widening its knowledge, ever widening in new ways. Ask and allow your guides and teachers and masters and companions who committed to be with you, some for a lifetime, some at particular moments in your life when you need their expertise, their particular knowledge. Allow yourself to sink down and within, and thereby shape-shifting into your wider being. So much more felt. It is not always easy to do this practice of coming down and in, but right here and right now we have such powerful and knowledgeable helpers and energies from above. These cosmic configurations, constellations, and stars map out humanity's progress, humanity's potential, allow yourself to sink down in and through your body to feel and experience the earth reaching, rising to meet your body, the earth of you, to re-establish that relationship, to re-establish the interconnected, interrelated, interdependent system as it is designed to be. For the mutual benefit of man. And aspects of nature, animals, birds, fish, insects. Plants, trees, which informs the skies, the clouds, rain. And your relationship to this earth and the particular aspects of earth that you as a being came to heal, support, and those aspects to heal and support you. So I encourage you to delve a little deeper into the traditions of this time of year. Exploring your family's cultural way of honoring the earth, nature, other beings, for when in deep relationship with self, with the earth, with the divine in all things, the relationships in and between and among the peoples of this planet. You can make a difference. You do make a difference. Your presence so matters. You are purposefully here. Allow yourself to sink down and in even further, letting go of any need to see or know, even the need to follow my words. For they are only a means by which the energetics are transmitted so allow yourself to go beyond the cognitive necessity and simply feel, sensate down and within you. For therein lies all you need, all information, all resources, all answers, all potentials. You are the portal. Simply feel, simply allow yourself to sink ever more deeply down and within. Nothing you need do, your energy field, your soul self, your wider self. And all of those beneficial energies and ancient ways and knowledge are here to assist you and guide you. The more you allow, the deeper your actual experience, not vision, but felt sense of who you are, the depth and width and breadth of you. Reminding you of just how powerful you are. think you're allowing, allow even more. No effort, no push, no intention, no purpose, no focus. For it is up to your system to bring you to an experience that is just right for you at this point in time. And with that deeper sense, deeper sensation of you, and what appears then to be challenges or problems are put into a very different perspective. For in these spaces and places within, there is no fear, for it is non-existent. There is no sadness, no loss, no grief, for you are eternal. There is magic, for time and space is very different. As you travel deeper within you, so anything can occur in an instant. In this linear time. And you experience beyond the human brain knowing, you experience the endless, limitless possibilities and potentials. Therefore, your wishes for yourself for your family, for your country, for your culture, for this planet. Down and within the inner verse of you. Anything and everything is possible and can be. And as you allow the integration process to begin, again, nothing you need do, nothing you need know. But as that begins to take place, and you may gradually feel your system's very unique way of feeling both the non-physical and the more physical. And as you allow yourself to just be in that in-between, sensating, your energetic soul body without the edges or outline. And yet still have a foot in the physical plane, either hearing the music or my voice, perhaps sensating a bit the chair beneath you and behind you. For in this in-between space, where that part of you knows that there are no bounds, there are no limitations, you feel yourself in this width and breadth those wishes here in this in-between place. Allow yourself all the wishes for you, for your family, for your community, for your culture, for your country, for your planet. And as the integration continues, following your own individual, very particular, very unique way of returning, you're bringing with you the felt sense of all potentials and all possibilities, which then informs through your consciousness this net, this web of this reality. Thereby implanting those wishes here with the awareness that everything is possible. And with that, I wish you the most beautiful of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, as we move into next week of Kwanzaa and the new year. Still fully in the energy of the solstice. The dark and the light together, mutually creating. I will post the video of the gentleman who speaks of the ancient practices. It's a YouTube video, and anything else I find or come across or have in my research, try to keep that posted. And I encourage you to just come back and re-listen to, not re-listen, but re-experience the energetics, the energetic practice here. For as you keep doing so and moving from the less physical inner verse, you are bringing that back to your outer verse, or this reality's makeup. You can recreate what is here. That's why there is so much potentially called turmoil and chaos for the new. I will see you on the 31st at 1 o'clock here, and please keep your eyes peeled. There will be a powerful transformation retreat day on January the 22nd of 2022. And until then, it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. Bye-bye.